Hi everyone. So in this video, we'll talk about a remote monitoring system of Futr OS. Once we log into the system, we can see entire assets list which are linked in this particular account. In this RMS dashboard, we have a technical dashboard, plant data, meter data, inverter data, weather data, and string heat map. In the technical dashboard, what all the parameters we can see. First of all, we can see that the time when last system has synced the data from the hardware. Then we can see the status of plant. Right now, it is showing plant is on. It means that your plant is generating. There can be a different status as well, like plant off, grid failure, and your communication failure. There can be a multiple status. Then we have a date selection calendar. Right now, it is showing today's date because I have just logged in. You can switch on to the previous dates as well. Then we can see plant name. Whatever plant is selected, you can see the plant's name here. Starting from the KPIs, we can see that there are multiple KPIs in this dashboard. First of all, there's an inverter's energy. What this inverter's energy is donating, total inverter's energy generated throughout the day. Then we have an insolation, that is also the solar radiation received during the day. Then we have a daily export and daily import parameters, which are coming from your MFM meters. Then we have a performance ratio and specific yield. And you can also see KPIs formula by just hovering on the help icon, which is available on the right side of every KPI. Then we have a DC CUF, AC CUF, because all these parameters are major performance factors which need to be tracked for every solar developer or EPC company. We have a peak power, peak insolation. All these values are calculated using the data values coming throughout the day. We have a plant start time and stop time whenever a plant has started generating in the morning. And right now, because we are seeing this plant in the afternoons, that's why stop time is not available. So whenever we log into the system after evening, then we can see the plant stop time as well. Then we have a plant availability and grid availability, maximum module temperature throughout the day, maximum ambient temperature throughout the day. Then we have a GTI and GHI average. GHI and GTI average depends on the sensors. If you have one sensor only, then obviously GHI average will not be there in the system. We have a live GTI, GHI, average wind speed, live active power of your plant, prevented CO2 and trees planted. Next section, we'll talk about how you can track live power with the live insolation in your plant. So here we can see that what all the parameters we can compare. We can compare total inverter's power, live insolation, POA insolation, and meters power, module temperature, and ambient temperatures. All these parameters we can compare on the screen. Then on the next section, we can see what is the trend of plant generation in the last 7 days. So right now I have selected 6th of July. So system is showing me 29th June to 5th of July's generation parameters. So these parameters include average POA energy, total energy exported, performance ratio, weather corrected performance ratio, deemed generation, and total production of inverters. In the next section, system is showing major parameters of all your inverters which are available in this plant. These 5 are different types of status which can be there in the inverter. How many of them are generating underperformance, sleeping, non-operational, and communication failure. In this plant, we have 2 inverters only. For a particular inverter, what all the parameters we can see here? Its rating, DC overloading, then DC load connected to the inverter, daily energy, specific yield, efficiency, performance ratio, peak power, active power, DC CUF, its downtime, availability, start time, stop time, and lifetime energy, and then status. All the major parameters which you want to track for inverters, all these in a single go, which is technical dashboard. Then we'll quickly jump on to the analysis of inverters on the basis of their performance. We have an option here for inverter specific yield comparison. System is calculating deviation on the basis of whatever DC load is connected to the inverter. So for example, if you have 15 inverters, and out of 15 inverters, 10 inverters are having a different DC load and 40 inverters are having a different DC load. So system will calculate top 5% inverters as per their DC load. So for one value of DC load, it will calculate top 5%. For the other DC load, it will calculate top 5%. Then it will calculate the deviation as per that top 5% in all the inverters. We can see here, these are different buckets which is available in the system, like 0 to 5%, 5% to 10%, 10% to 15%. So these are different buckets, and we can see heat map as well. In the heat map, we can clearly see that the worst inverters are there in the system. ICR6 inverter number 12 is there, which is having a very high deviation. And then we have another inverter which is having a deviation of minus 10.24%, which is ICR10 inverter number 27. You don't have to monitor this heat map on daily basis. System is monitoring these deviations for last 1 week, and it will automatically generate a alert on the basis of their deviation. Those alerts also we can see in this dashboard. In the smart alerts, we can see right now there are some communication failure alerts as well, but underperformance alerts will also come in this section only. Then in the next section, how your inverter's energy, yield and performance ratio are varying for that entire day in between the inverters. Like you can see list of all the inverters with their generation of performance ratio and yield values in this particular graph. Then we have an option to compare your multiple weather stations, or if you have a one weather station, then you can see all the parameters of that weather station in this particular graph. We can see that what all the parameters we can see in the live weather comparison. We can see module temperature, ambient temperature, POA insolation, GHI radiation, ambient temperature and wind speed. So these are major parameters you can track for in the weather station. The next section, which is plant. In plant, we have 3 sections: day reports, month reports, day data. In day reports, we can see daily data. In daily data, what all the parameters you can see. The list is available on the right section, like total inverters production, energy meter export, performance ratio meter based, performance ratio inverter based, then plant yield. So right now, by default, some of the parameters are selected, but you can select or deselect any parameters which you want to see in this particular graph. And there are options to see the similar data in the table view as well. So you can switch between table view and chart view easily, and you can download this data, tables data in CSV format using this download option. In month reports, in the similar fashion, you can see all these KPIs for the month. And these are some major KPIs which you can track: energy meter export, plant yield, team generation, P50 estimated generation, and what is the deviation coming from coming between the actual generation and your budgeted generation. That can also be tracked here. Similarly, in the table view, you can export this data for your reference or for your internal reports. You can download this data. In day data, you can monitor the trends of data, like how it is varying between day to day. So you can select the day, any date, any past date, and today's date as well to see this graph. These are parameters which are available in the plant: total meters output power, inverters power, module temperature, insolation, ambient temperature. And same data can be viewed in the table format as well, which you can download. If your plant is having a string monitoring available, be it at inverter level or combiner box level, system can easily monitor all your strings performance real time. So you can see in this particular heat map what all these strings are active, how many strings are active in a particular inverter, and how many strings are inactive. So you don't have to monitor this dashboard, see that if any string is down or underperformance is there. System will automatically generate alert on the basis of comparison between all these strings on the basis of their DC load connected. We'll jump on to next section, which is meter. In this meter section also, in the similar fashion, we have option of day report, month reports, day data, day generation, month generation. In day reports, you can select any meter to see the parameters. For the meter, we have import, export, total runtime. All these parameters you can see in the day report. Similar fashion, chart view, table view is available. In the month reports, you can see months data, and in day data, you can see for that particular day how your parameters are deviating, like insolation, total output, meter power, frequency, active power. All these parameters you can track for any energy meter. In day generation, you can clearly see that what is the status of what is the generation values for that particular day for all your meters in a single view. Similar data can be accessed in a table view. In month generation, you can see that for this current month and for any previous month, you can see that for all the energy meters, how these meters are generating, what is their value. Then we'll quickly jump onto the inverter. In inverter also, we have a similar tabs, day report, month reports, but it's just the data representation is different. Here we are showing the inverters data, and earlier we were seeing the meters data. You can select and deselect inverters from here, and you can also see in the inverter selection what is the actual DC load connected to each inverter, so that you can easily filter out on the basis of DC load as well to track their performance. We will not explain this section in detail because it's pretty similar to the earlier section, meter, but I'll just quickly show you all the parameters which you can see, like AC voltage, DC voltage, phase voltages, temperature, power, insolation. All these parameters you can track. In day generation, you can track performance ratio and their production. In month generation also, similar parameters can be tracked. In the similar fashion, we have an option to see weather data, SMB data as well. So in weather data, we can see that the insolation energy, POA energy, GHI energy, and peak insolation you can track for all your weather stations. If you have multiple weather stations, that list will come here in this particular drop down. Then in month reports also, you can see these parameters, and in day data, you will see all the sensors data which is available in your plant. After this, we'll quickly jump on to combiner box monitoring and string data. In day reports, you can select inverter wise, you can select all inverters SMB as well. Like I'll just do that. So now you can monitor all SMB's performance in that particular inverter. In the table view, you can export the data. These are the different parameters which are available for SMB: daily energy, their daily yield, maximum DC power, performance ratio, max voltage. Then in SMB data, you can monitor live parameters of SMB: voltage, current, power, temperature. In strings data, you can monitor or see strings values for all these SMBs. Now you can see if there's any deviation occurs in between the string current, system will automatically generate the alert. But you can also track the performance in this particular graph. And we have a heat map option also available at SMB level, like inverter level. So here you can see inverter wise SMB's heat map and their deviation. And you can also switch what is the reference point you want to take. Like by default it is 95th percentile. You can switch to 75th percentile, median, and maximum as well, as per your analysis. We have option to see all the devices status which are available in your system. You can easily see in this particular chart how many devices are having a communication failure, how many devices are non-operational. We can see that these are the MFMs which are not communicating, and there are some of the inverters which are having a underperformance problem that can be seen in this system. And this inverter number 14 is having a communication problem. We have an option to generate reports for all the components and a plant level report as well. You can easily select plant, inverter, weather station. All these options are available. I'll just select the plant, and frequency I'll select daily. I can also select minute-wise data. You can select from the start date and end date. I'll just select the entire month of, for example, June, and I'll just select all the parameters and generate report. So you can see on the right side, system has generated the entire month's report that can be downloaded in two formats, Excel or the PDF format. We'll jump on to the next section, which is query model, where you can compare in between the plants, and in a single plant also, you can compare between the devices. So for example, I'll just select one plant here, and I'll select another plant in the next row. And for duration, I'll select month. In the component, you can take inverter. Inverters, select inverter number 1. In this plant, let's see weather station. And then we'll have to select the parameters. I'll just select the parameters, and in weather station, I'll select these two parameters. This way, you can just click on run query. System will directly fetch the data for all the plants and parameters components you have selected. A graph will come here for that entire month. This is the interesting part where you can monitor and compare in between the components, their parameter you can select. Even if you have a bigger portfolio and you want to compare specific yield between the plants, that also can be done in the similar screen, where you will have to select frequency as a daily. Instead of minutes, you will have to select the daily frequency. That's it for the RMS dashboard. We are done with this video, dated 6th of July.